This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on the South Today, the Southern District Health Board has its plans in place for the vaccination rollout for 5 to 11-year-olds. 2 elderly environmentalists appear in court after they were arrested at the weekend. And an Olympic great rower has hung up his paddles to grip onto a steering wheel. Kia ora, good evening, I'm Melissa Barton. With COVID-19 vaccination rates at 90%, district health boards are turning their focus to the next step. The Southern DHB is gearing up for when the vaccinations become available for 5 to 11-year-olds and is hoping to get underway as soon as possible.
Vaccinations for 5 to 11-year-olds is a case of when, not if, according to the head of Southern DHB's vaccination team, who says it's currently in the hands of the authorities.
We all know it's coming. It's just a matter of MedSafe being comfortable with the data that they have and signing that off.
90% of adults are vaccinated in the south, and Cal Metzer says the next vulnerable group are school-aged children. He hopes vaccination can begin for them over summer.
I think we're trying to target some of those 5 to 11s during the holidays and avoid the back-to-school rush and chaos that goes with that.
Southern's vaccination rollout has been greatly helped by a host of organisations, including Te Kaika, the PHO Well South and more. And he says local pharmacies have contributed in relaxing people who may have been vaccine hesitant.
People love not having to book, that they can just come on off the street, sit down, and often they know their pharmacist in their local area and they have a close relationship, which is pretty, I think that more than anything, it's that relationship and trust and often a familiar face that's got people over the line to get their first dose.
The Southern DHB hopes MedSafe will give vaccinations for 5 to 11-year-olds the green light by Christmas. In Dunedin, the South Today.
A man has died in a crash between a tractor and a train in South Canterbury last night. The crash happened at the railway crossing on Hawke Road, Orari, between Geraldine and Temuka, about 10:50 p.m. Police say the driver of the tractor received medical attention at the scene, but was not able to be revived. The train driver was uninjured. Hawke Road was closed when the serious crash unit examined the scene. Inquiries into the circumstances of the crash are ongoing. 2 of the people arrested for blocking a coal-carrying train at Dunedin's railway station at the weekend were in their 70s and 80s. The couple appeared in Dunedin District Court this morning as proud supporters waited outside.
Last Saturday, 8 people were arrested for blocking a coal train heading to Fonterra's plant in Clandeboine from Ojai. 2 of the people arrested at the time can be classed as senior citizens.
So we're here, a group of us here are supporting 2 elderly senior citizens who are appearing today for blockading the coal train last Saturday. Anne is 74 and she's a great-grandmother, and Michael is 80 and he's a grandfather.
Being led away in handcuffs is familiar for Extinction Rebellion Otipoti spokesperson Rosemary Penwarden, as she's been arrested before. But she says the older protesters were treated well.
Michael was helped off the tracks. He has a bit of trouble walking. He was the first one to be processed through the police cells, and they let him out quite early.
The group wants an end to coal use for environmental reasons, and say the reason they stopped this train is to encourage Fonterra to stop using coal quicker at its Clandeboine milk processing plant.
We're asking it to be brought forward to 2025, and that's when all of the state-owned sector, the state sector, hopefully will be off coal. That's the plan, that's the target for the government. They need to get Fonterra off coal by then too.
In an email statement, a Fonterra spokesperson says, "We are working to exit coal at our remaining 9 of 29 sites where it's still being used by 2037. The majority of this coal reduction will happen over the next 8 years. We've made good gains recently with our move away from coal at our Te Awamutu and Brightwater sites. with the Te Awamutu site reducing our coal use by 10%, the equivalent of taking 32,000 cars off the road. Our Stirling conversion to wood biomass is currently underway. Pen Warden says the people who blocked the coal train on Saturday are very sorry the Seasider train didn't go through to Oamaru. However, she says it was on a different track and believes it could have gone past, as those demonstrating were only on one track. In Dunedin, the South Today.
A 7-year-old motorbike rider was taken to Dunedin Hospital after a collision with a car south of Dunedin yesterday afternoon. Senior Sergeant Anthony Bond says a car driven by a 48-year-old man collided with a 7-year-old on a motorbike who failed to give way. The incident is believed to have happened about 4 p.m, but police were called to the scene more than 2 hours later at 6:30 p.m. The child was taken to hospital by his parents to be checked out and had minor injuries. Senior Sergeant Bond says there was no time or space to avoid the collision. Dunedin's own triple Olympic gold medalist Hamish Bond is set to make his motorsport debut next year. He's due to be a guest driver at next year's Otago Rally, driving a classic Subaru.
Hanging up the paddles and hitting the pedals. Triple Olympic gold medalist Hamish Bond is looking forward to being a guest driver at the Otago Rally next year in Magnum Motorsport's 1998 Subaru Impreza. Bond says it's something completely different to him and has no motorsport experience whatsoever.
My first ever go in a rally car behind the wheel. I've had one go with Emma Gilmore in the passenger seat, but yeah, just getting some practice in for the Otago Rally, which I'm really looking forward to. It's a great opportunity for me.
Otago Rally spokesman Roger Oakley says the rally was looking for a local guest driver to get behind the wheel and are keen to share their sport through Bond.
Oh look, we're really excited because we get to share our sport, the sport of rallying, to Hamish, and hopefully through him a lot of people can see just how cool the sport it is and how big an adventure you can have.
Bond is taking a cautious approach and says you have to be looking at what is in front of you and what's coming up, which is also a change for Bond, who has spent most of his career facing backwards.
Yeah, like I've got some experience with switching sports and starting off from ground zero with my move from rowing to cycling, but this is completely different and obviously, you know, in a condensed amount of time.
He says his only goal is to complete the rally, embrace the experience and enjoy visiting the area he hails from.
It's just about dancing that fine line between confidence and speed, and also safety, and getting through ultimately the right through the Otago Rally, which is what I am, you know, that'll be the goal for me, is to get from the start to the finish.
The Otago Rally runs from April 8th to the 10th, following a ceremonial start in Dunedin's Octagon. In Christchurch, the South Today.
Still to come on the South Today. A Dunedin roller skater has taken out a few national awards, and a touch of Hollywood goes to Gore.
Get on down to the University of Otago Oval for a double header this Sunday the 12th of December. The Sparks and the Volts take on the Northern Brave.
Hi, I'm Molly Lowe from the Otago Sparks. We have a great lineup, so come down and watch us for our next game.
Certainly being on a bike, the frustrations you get when people are behind you, they're impatient, you know, it's only 5 or 10 seconds more out of your day, and when you think about it, we're on a lot longer journey than you are, and just keeping space. It's not hard to give a metre, you know, even if it means waiting a minute or so to pass.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Stuff your stocking!
Excuse me?
Stuff your stocking at My Mate John's with fantastic festive furniture deals. Up to 50% off with huge savings on beds, bedroom, lounge, dining, occasional and tons more. Don't miss this one. Get down to John's and stuff your stocking. Up to 50% off plus pay it off interest free. Only at John's Furniture Warehouse, Stafford Street and online.
Get that furniture from Stafford Street and My Mate John.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Welcome back. The future of Kmart in Dunedin is still unclear. The Australian retailer moved out of its premises in the Meridian Mall early last year, citing concerns about required seismic strengthening. Otago Land Group Limited was granted consent by the Dunedin City Council last September, allowing Kmart to operate at the former Smith City site in Andersons Bay Road. It was planned Kmart would be there for 4 years, while the company searched for a permanent site. But it has not moved in as yet. 2021 has been a good year for local roller skater Steve Ting, winning roller skating competitions in the Waikato and 2 awards at the ANZ Roller Skate Open 2021. Despite a few injuries, he's not showing any signs of slowing down.
Seen here performing sick tricks, local roller skater Steve Ting is stoked to have won Best Video at an Australasian roller skating competition, as well as other awards.
About halfway through the year I was invited to New Zealand's first invitational roller skate comp, a mini ramp in the Waikato, and I won that one. And recently we just had the Australian-New Zealand online competition where I got second in open division unsponsored and also won Best Video submission.
But he didn't come away from the video unscathed. What you don't see here are the first 2 takes where he sprained his wrist.
We were trying to get that to heal, but I had to finish the edit, so I was skating on that injury.
He says unlike a skateboard, you're attached to the wheels, so you usually crash in spectacular fashion. He also says his physio hates him.
Like any sport, you can break limbs, concuss yourself, head trauma, anything like that. So everything has to be taken with a certain amount of risk, and when we do tricks and stuff like that, we have to calculate, risk and rewards.
He says he wants to keep skating for as long as possible, but also focus on his other activities. In Dunedin, the South Today.
St Mary's school pupils had a taste of Hollywood stardom at a special premiere screening of their production in Gore. The school's leaders says it gave the pupils a positive focus at the end of the school year.
Pupils and teachers of St Mary's School in Gore turn on the glitz and the glamour for their school production of Cinderella Rockefeller at the St James Theatre. Principal Annie Nelson says the night was buzzy, exciting, and the kids loved it.
We finally got to share our school production. Due to COVID, we hadn't been able to do a live show, but we'd organised a videographer and he came down and he took all the images of the show, which was marvellous.
Normally, the school just records a production from one angle with no editing, but this time the show had been filmed and produced by an Invercargill film company. Nelson says it made up for the lack of audience during the performance.
The feeling of success after they'd seen it was amazing, and to see their faces on the big screen, so not just as a whole group but close-up faces on the big screen, you can't buy that, and I think they knew it. Their sense of excitement and achievement was palpable. Loved it.
Pupils were interviewed by staff on their way into the theatre and had their photo taken with an Imitation Oscars award on the red carpet.
And I said to them, what are you hoping to see today? What do you think it'll be like? There was still some nervousness and some anticipation.
Parents are able to watch the production at their leisure, as copies of the film had been distributed on USB drives.
So we decided to film it to make it as good and as memorable as possible, rather than here's what we've missed because of COVID, here's what we got because of COVID. It's a fantastic choice.
The principal is pleased that the children got to experience something that not many get to do. In Gore, the South Today.
Still to come on the South Today. We begin looking back at the year in news, looking at January. And back to the present day, we have tomorrow's weather for you.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Hi, my name's Matt and I'm the Dines Group CEO. Dines is a company that's focused on selling logistics solutions to its customers. We're passionate about selling efficiency and we've been selling efficiency for over 50 years now.
MTF Finance can help you turn the key on your next vehicle with a loan made just for you. TCs and lending criteria apply.
Just plan your route a little bit, choose nice and quiet roads. In the winter it's always nice to ride north and south, that way you get the driest route and less likely to hit black ice.
Hi, I'm Eden Carson from the Otago Sparks and we'd love to see all your support down here at the Uni Oval this summer.
Get down to John's and stuff your stocking. Up to 50% off, plus pay it off interest free. Only at John's Furniture Warehouse, Stafford Street, and online at mymatejohn.co.nz.
And my mate John can't stop believing I'm the greatest.
I love saving goals and I love the support of our sponsors.
I'd like to thank all of our sponsors, including the ODT. Thanks to our sponsors, especially the ODT. We all enjoy going online and looking at all the results.
A big thank you to Platinum Recruitment for supporting us through this whole season.
Thank you to Night and Day for sponsoring us and for all my crisscross fries.
Thanks to all our sponsors, especially Night and Day. I love your crisscross chips, only if there's some left after Emily Morrison's come.
Big shout out to Platinum Recruitment for helping us out this year. Thanks to all our sponsors for supporting us.
Big thanks to our sponsors, especially McDonald's Dunedin. My order of choice is a small double cheeseburger combo.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba, we're McLovin' it.
Thanks to all our sponsors, you guys are awesome. For a good afternoon, come and watch us play football.
We want you at our next game.
Can't stop believing I'm the greatest. season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Welcome back. In the days leading up to Christmas, we'll be looking back month by month at some of the news events that shaped 2021. January saw crowds able to attend outdoor music concerts, and there was a sigh of relief for Southlanders concerned about the possible closure of the Tiwai Point aluminium smelter.
January brought good news for Southland when the owners of the aluminium smelter at Tiwai Point signed a new agreement with electricity supplier Meridian Energy.
People are very pleased, very happy. Nice to have that certainty. It's been a tough 2020 and the people inside have performed amazingly well through that challenge. And so it's nice to have a 4-year certain time frame now. We can get on with producing fantastic product and doing what we do best.
The deal ensures the smelter will continue operating until at least 2024. Climate activists brought operations at the Dunedin railway station to a halt, with some even clipping themselves onto the tracks to prevent coal trains from travelling through. The protesters claimed a partial victory after stopping all coal transportation for the day. And while concert events in other countries were cancelled due to COVID-19, more than 10,000 fans enjoyed music and sunshine at the annual Gibbston Valley Winery summer concert.
Yeah, 10,000 people is not, in any other event that would be seen as a huge success. But we're used to that sort of 18,000, so it is a smaller turnout, but at least we're out here having fun, enjoying live music again with friends and family.
Next year's concert has been pushed back to March due to the uncertainties caused by COVID-19. And work continued on the new 7-storey Langlands Hotel in the heart of Invercargill. The 80-room hotel owned by the Invercargill Licensing Trust will feature a rooftop bar with panoramic views of the southern city.
So on a beautiful day like this, be able to come up and have a chilled beer or a cold bubbles and watch the aircraft land and see the amazing views right the way through to the tackies. There's actually 360-degree views, so the direction I'm facing, Bluff Hills will be able to see, and east and west as well, so she's pretty spectacular.
The giant crane named Lofty the Yellow Lifter finished its contribution to the build in November, with the hotel on track to open for guests early next year.
And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South today. The Southern District Health Board has its plans in place for the vaccination rollout for 5 to 11-year-olds. 2 elderly environmentalists appear in court after they were arrested at the weekend at Dunedin's railway station. And an Olympic great rower has hung up his paddles to grip onto his steering wheel as he has a crack at motorsport. And now a look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT. Welcome Deputy Editor Craig Page. How are you doing?
Hi Mel, how are you?
What have you got for us?
I've got one of those lovely stories that puts a smiley face and a tear to your eye at the same time.
I love those.
I know. It's about Dunedin girl Brianna Steedman. Now, she's been named as one of the faces of the Child Cancer Foundation's Christmas Appeal. Yeah, 7-year-old who had a BMX accident earlier in the year, and the injuries just wouldn't heal up, and she was subsequently led to being diagnosed with cancer. Fortunately, she's in remission at the moment, but she decided she wanted to give back to the charity that helped her so much, so she's going to help front the campaign for Christmas Appeal. Interesting, her one Christmas wish is that the cancer doesn't come back, so yeah, as I say, a bit of a tearjerker as well. This year alone, 183 New Zealand families have had childhood cancer diagnosis, so it's really heartbreaking stuff. So it is one of those charities that if you have got a few extra dollars over Christmas, it would be nice to hand it to them. So
get your change out.
Yeah, definitely. Discussions underway at the moment to expand COVID self-isolation facilities in Queenstown. Meetings have been held between the District Health Board and Mayor Jim Bolt this week. There's only 2 motel units at the moment available in Queenstown, which doesn't seem a lot to me. And given Auckland borders are due to open next week and we're expecting a bit of an influx south, they're obviously keen to get some more provisions in place ahead of that. So there are some facilities being talked about. They don't want to identify them at the moment, but Mr Bolt's happy that they're going to, it's pretty reassuring, he says, that they're going to be identifying some spots and freeing up some more space if the worst situation occurs, I guess. Sport and racing lift out tomorrow as well. Another story about a former Balclutha woman, Sammy Wong. She's making a bit of a name for herself in England as a rugby player. She previously played for the Pirates Club in Dunedin and a few games for Otago, but then headed overseas and is now one of the mainstays of the high-profile Wasps club over there. And recently she got to play for the Barbarians against South Africa at Twickenham in front of a world record crowd for a women's rugby match. So yeah, great story about her as well. We've also got racing fields for Invercargill if you're interested in spending $1 on Saturday, so get tomorrow's paper.
Great, I'll be looking for some hot tips. And you can catch all of that in tomorrow's paper. And now it's time for a look at the weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by Mole Map.
Starting with today's southern view, taken of a new mural taking shape in Dunedin. Looking at the situation, weak regions of high pressure will dominate southern weather patterns for the next few days, meaning mostly light winds and few, if any, showers. But tomorrow's a wet day for the north of this island. Showers in Westport with 19 degrees and Greymouth gets rain and 20. And the wet weather continues in the northeast. Showers for both Nelson and Blenheim on 21 and 20. Down to the Canterbury coast, showers in Kaikoura and Christchurch as well with 17 degrees. Ashburton will see scattered showers with 18. Heading down to the southern towns, light winds and a few showers throughout the day with a high of 16 for the Catlins, and it's 16 degrees too for Balclutha, Lumsden and Gore with light winds and the occasional cloud. Moving over to Central, it's a cloudy day with light winds for all here. Wanaka on 20, Queenstown and Alexandra 19 and Tiana 16 degrees. And as we head further north along the coast, light winds and cloud continue for Timaru and Oamaru with 19 and 18 degrees. And it's the same moving inland to Taizu and Amarama with a slightly warmer 21. In Dunedin, any showers will clear tonight, but it remains cloudy with an overnight low of 10. Dry but overcast tomorrow with cool temperatures, light winds at first with moderate northeasterlies developing later and a bit of drizzle later on. A high of 15 and a low of 11. Overcast with light showers and drizzly periods on Saturday with moderate southwesterlies, becoming a bit fresh during the afternoon, a high of 16 and low of 10. And in Invercargill, becoming fine with an overnight low of 9. Tomorrow, fine again with sunny periods with some cloud and light westerlies, a high of 17 and a low of 9. And it's cloudy on Saturday with light showers for most of the day, clearing in the evening with moderate southeasterlies, looking at a high of 14 and a low of 9. And that's all the news for Thursday. Kia ora.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Public interest journalism funded through New Zealand On Air.